Good morning, one and all. Today we are going to study parotid gland. The principal structure in this area are parotid gland and facial nerve. The facial nerve comes out of the cranial cavity through the stylomastoid foramen in this region and enters the parotid gland, where it divides into 5 terminal branches which merges on the face underneath the anterior margin of the parotid gland. The detailed knowledge of the anatomy of parotid region is important in clinical practice, particularly when performing surgical procedures on parotid gland. Now we'll see what is the parotid space and what are the boundaries of the parotid space. The parotid region is the region around the ear. So on the left side of the diagram, you can see the anteriorly you have ramus of mandible, masseter and medial pterygoid muscle. All these structures I have marked with a blue color, so please see to it. Then posteriorly you have mastoid process and sternocleidomastoid, that is on the right side. So superiorly you have external acoustic meatus and temporomandibular joint. Then on the inferior and middle you have posterior belly of digastric muscle, styloid process and muscle attached to it. So what are the muscle attached to the styloid process? They are stylohyoid, styloglossus and stylopharyngeus. The parotid gland is the largest gland. The average weight is 25 grams. In the diagram you can see the location of the parotid gland. Irregular lobulated mass lying mainly below the external acoustic meatus between mandible and sternocleidomastoid muscle. On the surface of the masseter, small detached part lies between zygomatic arch and parotid duct. In the diagram you can see the accessory parotid gland. Parotid gland consists of capsule. In the diagram you can see the outer false capsule and the inner true capsule. Now outer false capsule is formed by splitting of the investing layer. Then it consists of superficial layer and the deep layer. Superficial layer is tough paratido-mesenteric fascia attached to the zygomatic arch above. The deep layer is thin and thickened to form stylomandibular ligament which separates parotid gland from submandibular gland. Now the inner true capsule formed by alveolar tissue around the gland. The external features of parotid gland. So in the diagram you can see the parotid gland resembles three-sided pyramid with apex directed downward over posterior belly of digastric muscle, structure passing through anterior and posterior division of retromandibular vein and cervical branch of 7th nerve. The base, upper surface related to external acoustic meatus and temporomandibular joint, structure passing through superficial temporal. Now we'll see the borders and surfaces of parotid gland. First we'll see the surfaces of parotid gland. So just below to the diagram, just see the lateral surface and the structures I have marked with a blue color. So the lateral surface is related to skin, superficial fascia with great auricular nerve and preauricular lymph node and platysma muscle. Now the medial border above to the diagram between anterior and posterior medial surface related to the pharyngeal wall. Now towards the right side you have the posterior medial surface that is related to the mastoid process with sternocleidomastoid muscle, digastric muscle, 7th cranial nerve, the styloid process with its muscle, carotid sheath with its content, that is the internal carotid artery, internal jugular vein and 9 to 12 cranial nerves. Now the anteromedial surface towards the left side you can see in the diagram related to posterior border of ramus of mandible with masseter and medial pterygoid muscle. Now we'll see the borders of parotid gland. So anterior border towards the left side you can see, that is the anterior border, lies between lateral and anteromedial surface. Structures passing that is the zygomatic, buccal and mandibular branch of 7th cranial nerve, then transfacial vessels and parotid duct. Now the posterior border, it is towards the right side, that is the posterior border, lies between posteromedial and lateral surface. Structures passing posterior auricular vessels and nerve. Structures related mastoid process and sternomastoid muscle. Now we'll see the lobes of the parotid gland and 7th cranial nerve. The lobes are superficial, deep. The superficial is of 80% of gland and the deep is 20% of gland. And now this isthmus connects the superficial and the deep lobe and gives a collar stirred appearance and forms the fascico-venous plane. Now we'll see what exactly the fascio-venous plane. It is also called as pati-fascio-venous plane. Now in the diagram you can see the parotid gland is divided into large superficial and small deep parts of lobe. These lobes are connected by the isthmus of glandular tissue, so the gland appears H-shaped. The branches of the facial nerve passes through the isthmus, the plane between the superficial and the deep lobe of parotid gland in which the branches of facial nerve and the retromandibular vein lies. This has been designated by pati-fascio-venous plane. This plane, it is of surgical importance to surgeon to remove the parotid tumors without damaging the facial nerve. Now in the diagram we can see the structures within the parotid gland which lies between the superficial and deep lobe in the fascio-venous plane. From superficial to deep the structures are facial nerve, retromandibular vein and external carotid artery. We have studied the structures within the parotid gland, that is the facial nerve, retromandibular vein and external carotid artery. So in brief I will be telling you regarding the facial nerve, the retromandibular vein and the external carotid artery. First of all we will see the facial nerve. In the diagram you can see the facial nerve enters through the posterior-medial surface and divides into temporofacial and cervicofacial branches. The two branches divides into temporal, zygomatic, upper and lower buccal, mandibular and cervical branches. Interconnections between the branches gives it a pus anserinus effect, that is the goose foot. Now we'll see retromandibular vein. In the diagram you can see the retromandibular vein occupies the intermediate zone of the gland and it is formed by the union of superficial temporal and maxillary vessels. Terminates into anterior and posterior division. The anterior division joins facial vein to form common facial vein and posterior division joins posterior auricular to form external jugular vein. Now the last structure within the parotid gland is the external carotid artery. So in the diagram you can see it enters gland through posteromedial surface, terminates by dividing into superficial temporal and maxillary arteries. Superficial temporal gives a transverse facial branch in the gland. Now you know that parotid gland, it has a duct. It is called as parotid duct or it is also called as Stenson duct. Stenson duct is a duct and the route that saliva takes from the major salivary gland, the parotid gland, into the mouth to facilitate mastication and swallowing and to begin the digestion of starch. The length of the duct is 5 centimeters. Now in the diagram we'll see the course of the parotid duct or Stenson duct. It leaves anterior border of parotid gland and runs forward on the masseter. It blends medially at the anterior border of masseter to pierce the buccal fat, buccopharyngeal fascia and buccinator muscle. It bends for second time and runs forward deep to the mucous membrane to open into the vestibule of mouth opposite to second upper molar tooth. We'll see the nerve supply of parotid gland, that is parasympathetic, sympathetic and sensory. So first of all we'll see parasympathetic. Secretomotor water secretion pathway inferior salivatory nucleus to ninth cranial nerve. Its tympanic branch forms a tympanic plexus in the middle ear. The lesser petrosal nerve carries from the plexus and it is relay in the otic ganglion. The auriculotemporal nerve carries secretomotor fibers to the parotid gland. Sympathetic secretomotor mucus secretion, vasomotor from superior cervical ganglion through plexus around external carotid artery. The sensory auriculotemporal nerve, branch of mandibular nerve. The blood supply of the parotid gland, arteries from external carotid artery, veins to the external jugular vein. The lymphatics of parotid gland is superficial and deep parotid lymph nodes to deep cervical lymph nodes. Now we'll see the applied anatomy of the parotid gland. Inflammatory swellings, very painful due to capsule, that is parotidomesenteric fascia. Mumps, viral infection of parotid gland. Then parotid abscess, spread of infection from oral cavity. The horizontal incision is given to drain the pus and to prevent injury to branches of 7th cranial nerve, that is the facial nerve. Mixed parotid tumors, slow growing benign painless tumor. Then Fraze syndrome, in penetrating wounds of the parotid gland, a connection develops between the injured auriculotemporal and greater auricular nerve, and there is a sweating of face whenever salivation occurs. Thank you.